From garden to jar. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I harvest, dry, and then store and preserve my sage that I've grown in my garden. So first of all, this is my first harvest. I'm going to do multiple harvests, hopefully. This is my first harvest. The leaves have gotten to the point where they're large enough to be able to dry them, because they do shrink quite a bit. I'll show you guys how much they shrink a little bit later here in the video. But what I'm basically looking for is I'm looking for a spot where I can pinch off the top part of the plant and grab the leaves off of that without damaging the bottom part of the plant, so that it continues to grow and produce more harvest. So what I look for is a spot where there's another set of leaves that's already growing. It's kind of hard to show it in the video. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and I'll show you guys where the leaves are a little bit too young. And you don't want to pinch it off there, because you will just rip the leaves right off. So here's an example of that spot right there. It's a little bit too young. You'll see the two little leaves sticking out there, those two little guys. They're a little bit too young. So when I pinch this off, you'll see that they're going to pop right off with it. So you don't really want to do that. That's kind of an example of what not to do. So you would want to definitely pinch that a little bit higher so that they continue to grow, or look for a section where the leaves are a little bit bigger. So basically I just do that, look at each one. You don't have to be perfect. It'll grow back anyways. But yeah, so I'm going through and just picking off all of the larger leaves, and trying to find the right spot to kind of grab and harvest as much as I can out of the plant. But still letting the plant continue to grow so that I can get a second harvest. All right, so you can see those leaves are fairly large and nice looking. Now, if you don't have I have a food dehydrator, but if you don't have a food dehydrator, this leaf, you can see it's got a little bit of dirt at the bottom. So I do actually wash. I do recommend you wash them afterwards before you dry them. But if you don't have a food dehydrator, one thing that you can do is if you grab them by the stems there, like see how there's a stem at the bottom of the leaves, you can kind of just bunch them up into a kind of a bundle like this. And then you can use some twine to kind of just grab it and then hang it upside down like this. You can hang it outside and if you have a sunroom, or if you have an area in your house that's dry and hot, then you can definitely do that. But I do have a food dehydrator, so I'm going to show you how I do it that way. Okay, so once we get them all harvested, I do like to give them a little bit of a rinse just to make sure there's no dirt or soil if some of the leaves fell, before I put them in the bowl there. So I want to give them a little bit of a rinse. Now we are going to be drying this, so yeah, I mean, getting them wet is probably not ideal, but I'm going to use a salad spinner to get the moisture off as well. And we might have to just dry them a little bit longer, but I think for me that's better than, having some sort of dirt or some insects or something. So I prefer to get it nice and clean. Now here what I'm doing is I'm laying them out on these racks that go into my dehydrator. You don't have to do this part. You can just go straight from the rinsing part right into your salad spinner. I just wanted to see how many racks it would take for, because my food dehydrator, I think it has 5 racks that I can put in there. I just wanted to make sure that it'll all fit in one go. Which it did. I managed to get them all laid out on 4 racks total. So this is the part where I just, wanted to make sure that it's all laid out. And then we get the salad spinner out, and I get them into the salad spinner. That gets a lot of moisture out. You'll see, I'll show you guys here in a second. You'll see how much moisture you actually get off of that. And what that does is just makes it quicker to dry them. I mean, I could go straight from here to the dehydrator, but it probably won't dry evenly if you have a little bit of moisture. So it only takes a few extra seconds to kind of pop them in a salad spinner if you have one, and just, get as much of that water out that you can, especially if you rinse them. So we'll just get that done. Now you'll see when I pull this out, they're definitely a lot more dry now. The leaves look nice and dry. And I'll show you, look, if you look at the bottom of the, yeah, that looks way drier. Now, if you look at the bottom of this bowl, like look at how much moisture we removed just by doing a salad spin on that. So I definitely recommend that if you do have a salad spinner. If not, no, not a big deal. You can also use a paper towel to just, you know, dry them that way. So once I get all the moisture out, you know, here I'm just laying them back out on the racks to get them ready for the dehydrator. So you could put a paper towel down and just lay them out, let the paper towel kind of absorb the extra moisture, and then put another layer of paper towel on top and kind of just press it down, get the liquid out if you don't have a salad spinner. But yeah, so I'm just going to lay them out on all of the different trays here. So we've got a third tray coming along here, and we've got a fourth one all nicely laid out. So that should fit right into the food dehydrator, and there's nothing is overlapping. Like once I get it in there, I just kind of make sure nothing overlaps. The dehydrator that I have is this Kasori one that I got off of Amazon. It has, I think, up to 6 trays, if I'm not mistaken. I'm only using 4 here. So I'm bringing the temperature down to 100 Fahrenheit. You can go a little bit lower, a little bit higher than that, but I wanted to just stick with 100. And I'm going to start it for 4 hours, and then I'm going to add an extra 8 hours, and then just keep an eye on it. Another 8. All right, guys, so it's been about, we did an initial 4 hours, and then I did another 8 and another 8. So it's been about 20 hours total. I think they're pretty much done now. Oh yeah. Yep, that's fully dry. Perfect. So let's, yeah, I'm gonna grab these upstairs and we'll get them into the jars. Okay, so here we have the 4 trays all dried. As you can see, they've definitely shrunk a lot, and you can tell it's fully dry. So from this point, you could use a mill to just grind the leaves into like a ground sage type thing, which is basically what we have here. So it's, you know, whew, smoky. Right, so you can use it as ground sage, which, you know, you can buy that at the store too, but this is growing your own. But for my purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to store them in one of these jars. That way I can still, if I want to grind them later for ground sage, I can do that. Or I can use these kinds of leaves if I want to make a tea out of it or something like that. So it gives you a little bit more options. So I'm just going to fill up this jar here. Okay, so we've got the full jar now. So we put that in there, and this is a sealable jar, so that'll keep moisture out of there. But just to make sure that we don't get any moisture in there, what I'm going to do is I use these little silica gel packets, and these are food safe ones. I got these off Amazon, so I can throw a couple of those in there. And what's cool about these is that they have, in between some of the silica, they also have these like orange colored ones there. And when they start to absorb moisture, so after you open up the jar a few times, or if it's really humid when you open the jar, if they absorb a bunch of moisture, the beads turn a different color. So I think these ones turn green. So you'll be able to tell that the silica packets need to be recharged, but this way you can easily see that that's going to stay dry. I mean, I sterilized this jar beforehand, and all of the sage is 100% dry, but with the silica gel packs, it'll make sure it stays dry. And then if they turn green at some point in like 6 months or a year or whatever, I can keep an eye on it. If they start to absorb some moisture, then you can just pop in a couple more different ones. And I think these ones are actually, you can reactivate them by just putting them in the oven at 200 or in a dehydrator. These ones, you can also, for some of them, you can reactivate them in the microwave, but you have to pay attention because some of them you can't. Like these ones here, you can't do microwave. So just pay attention to that. Some of them are oven only. Some of them are both oven or microwave. These ones are just oven based. So that's how you dry some sage leaves and store them. One more thing I wanted to mention, guys, before we finish this video is, once you get them in the jar, I highly recommend that you label your jars. So for this one, I just made a quick little label, sage. And when I've harvested them, it'll make it a lot easier later on to remember how long they've been in there. And here, like this is some Moroccan spearmint that I harvested about 2 years ago. And you can see the silica gel is still orange, hasn't turned green yet. But compared to this one, the beads, see how this one has, the beads are like mostly white. This one is starting to turn, most of them are turning orange now. So I could probably replace this one, but it's been 2 years and it's kept it nice and dry. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know.